people, give the people what they want. It's a Good Friday edition of Power to the People. I want you to stay here even after we're off the air for everything that's going to go down on this station with some powerful people. Thank you to Buffalo and Atlanta for getting us on the air this morning. Welcome, everybody. I have so much that I really don't even have time to kind of slow walk into this. I got to walk right into it. Breaking news right now as we speak, just released 10 minutes ago from Axios, Washington Post, NBC News, New York Times. U.S. fighter jet shot down. One crew member rescued, other alive in Iran. I don't know if that means that one may be a hostage, but they did rescue one fighter jet that just went down in Iran. I'm going to look a little bit more at the story real quick. Iran is also hunting for the two crew members and has asked civilians in the area to join the search. The two crew members of the F-15 fighter jet ejected safely after being struck by Iranian fire. Now, I want you to remember, this is the same military that we're being told doesn't have any fighter power.
Right.
We've neutralized them, basically. They didn't say those words, but basically saying they've been neutralized. We're not worried about them.
They're not a threat.
They still have firepower. And I think that the authors of this war have misread the Iranian people.
Yeah, I agree.
Who have been trained from birth to conceal, and this is no disrespect, this is just part of the fact of what we know about their history and what they have said about how their civilians will rise up. They are now allowing, according to news releases, our 12-year-olds to get ready to sign up for the military if there is a ground war. So this is not something that I think that other people thought would happen, because they never thought that shooting into Israel was going to result in any type of catastrophes. And there are, because the Iron Dome, which, folks, that's the thing around Israel, that when rockets come in, when missiles come in, it intercepts them in the air and blows them to smithereens. The problem is you got shrapnel.
Right.
So you got all these pieces of metal flying over, but because now you have the Iranians, you have others shooting at them, this thing can't get them all.
Right, and as we talked about last week, because, we start to hear certain terms of the Strait of Hormuz and all of these things. Like, there's a lot of battles happening over there, and to your point, sometimes we don't grasp it because we're not in that culture, but from birth, babies are fitted for gas masks. Babies, like, everyone's fitted for battle at a certain age. That's why, again, you hear bar mitzvahs and everything. 13, you're a man. So they training at 12 so you can hit the battlefield by 13. So where it looks strange to us, they like, this is what we do.
Well, according to CNN right now, roughly half of Iran's missile launchers are still intact.
Still.
Half are still intact. This war has taken thousands out. They still got, according to what I just saw on CNN, over half intact. U.S. Special Forces located one of the crew members and rescued him alive. An Israeli official, listen to this, said Israel canceled planned strikes in Iran so as not to hamper the search and rescue. Because now, once they start getting Americans and Israelis as captives, this thing changes.
Yes.
Now, the president of the United States has said he's basically willing to bomb Iran till it looks like the Stone Ages. Now, let me tell you why I got a problem with this. We still have innocent people.
Yep.
And if the war was about taking out the nuke, the enriched uranium, if it was about regime change, which he says it's not, because that's you can't one country can't decide who's going to be the president of another country.
Right.
But that's come up, and some people are just silent about it. Like, oh, okay. I agree that there are some bad people in Iran. Horrible. But when you start taking out an entire country and you take out their water, and you take out their electric, and you take out their any way to be able to get around. The question is, are you fighting the people or are you fighting the bad guys?
Right.
And so we had a guest recently who said, about the Bible, and I didn't want to go back and forth in theology, but about there being a time for war. I want to be clear on this Good Friday that people have to know the difference between the Old Testament.
Right.
Come on.
Yep.
Israel. And the New Testament. Come on, Christians.
Yep.
In which today we call Good Friday because a loving God, the loving, graceful Jesus, dies on the cross, and he comes not to create war. He comes for peace.
Yep.
He comes to turn what had to happen, just a quick 101 theological lesson, from the Old Testament into a time of peace.
Yes.
He's called, for those of you who say you know the Bible and are using the Bible to justify war, he's called the Prince of Peace.
And his whole Beatitudes was on being peacemakers, being good to all men, and everything else. So everything, he's the greatest commandment is love. So I don't get where, and if you go to Matthew 24, which people generally, that was the sign when he said there's wars and rumors of war. That means we're at the end of time. So unless you're
saying he did not encourage war. So at the end of the day, utilizing the Bible, and even the Pope this week, American-born Pope, says basically that you can't use the Bible, and I paraphrase, shouldn't be using the Bible to justify war. And I get it. I do believe that there's a time you have to defend yourself. I grew up, and this is my philosophy. This is how I was raised. Is you don't go hit somebody first, but if they hit you,
then I defend myself.
You can defend yourself, and I taught my kids that, right? But I didn't want them just going around being bullies, punching people in the face because somebody said that they're going to jump you. Somebody said it, and I get it. There's intelligence, there's all of that, but I'm just going to be straight up. This is getting like unbelievable. Iranian media was first to report that a jet had been shot down. Iranian media, okay? So don't think you shut them out. But, again, my concern is about innocent people. And on this Good Friday, I'm talking about so we can sit back here and just go like, twiddle our thumbs, nobody mentions it, nobody says anything, but let an attack happen here.
Oh, absolutely.
At the end of the day, if you want to attack the regime or whatever, that's one thing. But now, if you start attacking the west side, the north side, the east side, we be losing our crap.
Yep.
But here we go, and it's just like amazing that a sitting president can say, I'm gonna take it back to the Stone Age and be okay. There are babies there. And again, I'm telling you, I'm sure there are horrible people in Iran.
Absolutely.
Deal with the horrible people.
And there's horrible people in this country. And if somebody was like, I'm going to do my best to get rid of all the horrible people, we would be crying up in arms. But, the last time we heard language like this, we ended up in Afghanistan and Pakistan for 25 years because there was weapons of mass destructions in Iraq. And we still have yet to find what George Bush said. Now, granted, we went over there allegedly to go find bin Laden.
Right.
We ended up in Iraq, and all the reports were saying he was in Afghanistan and Pakistan. So
we're all over the place.
All over the place when we get over there.
Well, here's talking about tax dollars with all of our gas prices rising.
$1 billion a day.
Gas prices rising, but wait a minute. I don't know if you heard about this. The money that he's now asking, Trump requests $1.5 trillion for military spending. 1.5 trillion. Now, I'm going to say this to my friends who we disagree on policy because they wanted to get me into a fight. I'm not fighting. We all have a right to our opinion. We all have a right to our opinion. So at the end of the day, we're spending $1.5 trillion, or he wants, for military spending. But then I think yesterday he says daycare should be in the hands of the states. I'm okay with that. If that's what you want, fine. But I also don't want, we're supposed to be bringing down the debt. We were supposed to not be in any new wars and no extended wars. So once Epstein files came up, we in all kinds of stuff. Because see,
all over the place.
I looked at all the headlines today. You don't hear nothing about Epstein. And then
he fires.
Come on now, let's preach.
He fires her.
He fires Bondi.
Yep.
This dude is something. When I say all of the street gangs should hire him, because he rode with her to an event. And I watched it. Yeah. He mentioned my friend Pam Bondi. Yep. Now, for those of you who might not know, Pam Bondi was the attorney general
yep.
of the United States, which means basically she's the cop that goes around and prosecutes people, the lawyer that goes around and prosecutes people. And he wanted all of these people prosecuted quickly who talked against him. Pam was doing the work, but she can't do what she don't have the proof.
Well, and you remember her last hearing, she said, my DOJ is working to unredact everything. Next thing you know,
she's gone.
Gone.
She said, if those of you never saw Pam Bondi at a hearing, this chick would be like, yeah. I mean, she was his pit bull.
Yeah, she was feisty.
So you take your pit bull, who says she's going to unredact all of the Epstein files, and you fire her after y'all just rolled together, bruh. Y'all just rolled together. And y'all was just in a limo.
Yep.
Y'all was just eating Cheetos.
But again, now everybody wants to, do their thing. But if you see who's getting fired, it's the women that roll with them.
The women.
It's the women that roll with them.
And they were rolling the hardest.
Yep.
They were, and then you know who he puts a temporary replacement? His personal lawyer.
Yep.
You can't make this up. His personal lawyer. Kamal says, remember Gaza and the West Bank and Palestine. It's just like, what are we doing here? We're fighting with literally everybody. And sooner or later, because we're not finite, infinite. No. I'm sorry, we're not infinite, we're finite. Sooner or later, who protects us? Who's going to be with us?
Yep. And just to piggyback on your numbers, you said he's asking for $1.5 trillion.
Yes, according to New York Times,
for defense spending. The national debt in this country is $34 trillion, and we are running a deficit of $1.5 to $2 trillion every year. So it's just continuing to grow.
So not only is the debt now growing that he was supposed to be bringing down. Remember the office, Doge?
Doge, yeah.
Remember the Department of Government Efficiency?
Yep.
So you cut the education department.
Yep.
But you want over a $1.5 trillion for a war.
That's not a war.
That you started. That you told us a year ago that you bombed their stuff and that their nuclear capability was gone.
And I'm still waiting for the declaration of war.
Still ain't came. Still has not come.
Just haven't believed that.
Still has not come. And at the end of the day, I'm just, Lord, there's some folks in D.C. that I have a big heart for, but I'm telling you now, this country is no way we shouldn't be disappointed. It's no way that we should not be disappointed at those in federal government. I mean, this man called for basically insurrection. He said he didn't. I'm still kind of figuring out, like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Because okay, and let me just stay in D.C. You know, a federal judge just said no to this White House, to the East Wing rebuild.
Yep.
That basically has to go through Congress, and said the White House does not belong to you. You're a steward of it. And what did they try to compare it to? Barack Obama putting a basketball court. Come on. There ain't nothing but blacktop and some hoops that could come down. He didn't tear down a whole wing of the White House.
So what's interesting is, and because I had just watched this documentary, and it was talking about all of the major rebuilds or renovations of the White House. Yes. And in it talked about every time there was a major renovation, it was because something was going on underground. So it made me immediately realize, like, okay, what are they doing underground on the East Wing, and then he came out and said it.
Came out and said it. Oh, we building this military something underneath the East Wing. Like, you, honest to goodness, this is like, you can't make it up. The president is live right now. One rescued, one still missing from down U.S. jet. I don't even need to listen to it.
No.
Because we've heard it over and over. And there's just no reasoning. And it's like, so that's what they're asking for right now is, but we don't have a declaration of war. Congress is on recess.
Yep.
And you know what fired me up? And so I'm putting it all in. It fired me up that some of the senators, and I know this for a fact, don't have to go through TSA like the rest of us.
Yep.
And they get a special escort.
Yep.
That will, depending on the airport, that will either take them through like where the pilots go through or literally a separate entrance, a VIP entrance. So they don't have to stand in line. They don't have to go through what and they can shut down the government, partial shutdown, and still get paid and their staff.
Yep.
I think, and Darius Pridgen is not an elected official. It's my personal opinion. That there should be, from our elected officials that feel this is wrong, even if you can't get the legislation through, put on the table that if there's a government, partial government, or full government shutdown, that those who are elected do not get paid, neither do their staff.
Well, and I think that would definitely upset the apple cart and get some things together. So I would agree, and especially because, hey, if you're making them go to work and they're protecting,
yes,
what is the staff assistant who's sitting there answering phone calls and making copies still getting paid for?
Why they still getting paid? Why do they still get paid? Why do some senators get to not stand in TSA lines? The rest of us do. But why do some of them not have to worry about gas? Because they have government cars that gas is provided.
Well, and then I said last week on the show, there's no coincidence that the Senate hurried up and got a bill done to pay TSA workers when some of them when they were getting ready to go on recess. Now, the sad thing, and I ended the show with the fact that I hope the House would have passed something that the Senate would have signed off on to make sure that the TSA workers got relief, and they just dug their feet in the ground. And it's just like, we can carve out the TSA and Homeland Security workers and then still revisit ICE. I don't get why it has to be the baby and the bathwater. Like, we piecemeal budgets together all the time.
Yes.
And there's a bill on top of a bill for all budgets. We should not be having this issue about people who are still being made to go to work.
Yep. Well, in doing some research, several bills and even proposed constitutional amendments in the current Congress aim to stop or claw back for members of Congress during shutdowns, but none has become law yet. So lawmakers still receive their salaries and their benefits during the partial shutdown. Under Article 1 of the Constitution and existing federal statute, members of Congress are, listen to this, quote, and this is in our Constitution, entitled to receive, end of quote, their salary even when appropriations lapse, which is why their pay continues in a shutdown while many federal workers go unpaid. I would love to see our elected officials say, I'm not taking my check until other people are paid. I'm not cashing my check until other people are paid. Because although it's in the Constitution, we're also looking for examples of people that have compassion to be able to say, if they're not getting paid and they make a quarter of what I make or less, and they have to ensure the safety in wartime of our planes, I'm not taking my pay.
And let's be honest, most of them don't need it anyway. So, like, put that money back. Most of you do not need you're in there for the power and the health benefit. So you don't, like, you're going back to your mansions or one of your houses, and most of you don't need the congressional stipend anyway.
This is not good. Chatbot. Oh, we got a chatbot. Have you followed us?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't know what a chatbot was. We didn't got that big.
I set it up so it come up automatically.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I like that. All right, Mark, you're taking it to another level. So, yeah, there are some bills, but they're not moving.
No.
They're not moving, and this is a shame of what we are dealing with right now. And my prayers, and I'm so serious, is really for innocent people in these countries who other countries are acting like, so what? Like they don't matter. And I don't care whether it's Israel, innocent people. I don't want to see killed. I don't want to see innocent people killed in Iran. I don't want to see innocent people killed in the United States.
Mm-mm.
At the end of the day, let's call it what it is, because we ain't heard about some other stuff in a while. All right. Am I done with the federal government before the break? What did I miss anything?
I think you got it all for federal government.
All right, for federal government. Now listen, these gas prices. And what I just said, some people in D.C. don't have to worry about it.
Sure don't.
Because if you ever go to D.C., you'll see the amount of government cars that the insurance is paid for by the government, the car is paid for by the government, and the gas.
Yep.
Leah Halton Pope says, I am, and I agree. Though on the state level, if they don't pass the budget by 4-1, the legislators don't get paid. Amen. Amen. I don't necessarily feel that staff who are elected should not. I don't think they should be punished. I think that, what about all these other people? Like, so everybody else just gets paid. Mm-hmm. But you know when you work for an elected official what you signed up for.
Absolutely.
So maybe, now let's be honest, your staff has a lot of influence.
Mm-hmm.
If your staff's still eating, your staff ain't encouraging you, come on, council member, come on, senator. I think the same way TSA people, it's not just the TSA agents, TSA support, all of those people are suffering.
Because let staff walk out. Let central staff walk out of Congress.
Come on.
And boycott and do whatever.
That's why I said staff. Because at the end of the day, let's be honest. Let's be transparent. A big number of people in the federal government who are elected are millionaires.
Mm-hmm. Some billionaires. So if they decide we going on vacation while TSA is getting partially paid or not getting paid, they ain't hurting. But I bet you if that clerk or your chief of staff or somebody who sits in the room with you and who advises you is also suffering, they going to tell you the real story. If somebody who does not have a government car, they're going to tell you the real story of what life is really like. But if you surround yourself with the elite and you surround yourself with people still getting paid, there is no urgency. No, and we cannot survive in a government that's ran by elitists. We just can't. And if not, then we're going to go back to some of the countries we swore we weren't going to be.
Right.
We can go back to a monarch system. We can go back to an oligarch system. If that's where everyone is comfortable being, where we look like the Soviet Union in fall.
King of Austin says, happy Autism Acceptance Month. Don't forget about it. We got to make sure we do something at church about that to bring attention to that. But that's why I feel staff, too, who work for elected officials.
Right.
I'm not just talking about all staff. I'm talking about staff who work for elected officials, because then that gives a different perspective, at least when I was elected.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to my staff. I wanted to know what's the temperature out there,
right.
How we feeling. If I'm not suffering, and they're not suffering, temperature is hold on. And I get the reason that the Democrats are doing. I'm not against it.
Right.
All I'm saying is let's be sensitive to other people who are suffering. When I come back, we're going to talk a little bit about Druski. Because Druski he raises some eyebrows, but I want to talk about comedy and whether comedy goes too far. Traffic in Atlanta is about to get crazy this weekend. If you think it was already crazy, spring break and everybody being out. I was there last year around this time, which was a huge mistake because rent-a-cars were gone. I had a rent-a-car, and then when I come back, I'm going to tell you the story about what happened at the funeral home this week. Sunday. I had to rent a car reserved and got there, and they said, we had a car. I'm like, wait a minute. I got a car reserved.
Yep.
They're like, did you listen to this? Did you reserve it today? Okay, this morning. But you gave me a confirmation.
You know, the last time we told this story, there's actually a Seinfeld skit about this. And he was like, the reservation means my car is reserved to be here.
Right here. Right here. And then I went back like a few weeks later, and I had to wait in a line for an hour and something. And the lady, tell you this real quick, the lady who was working there got so frustrated. I am not kidding you. She said, pick whatever car you want. I said, wait a minute.
Listen.
I had like a mid-side. She said, I don't care. She probably quit that day.
Probably.
She said, I don't care. Y'all can pick. We was running the cars like a rat running to peanut butter. Man, I got me a nice little luxury car. And when I went to go get my phone, I left my phone. Somebody else had put their stuff in. I'm like, no.
Yeah, nah.
That's mine.
That's mine. She said, take whatever you want.
She said, take what, and it was legal.
It was legal.
We'll be right back.
When it comes to something as personal as your clothes, you need to deal with somebody you can trust. That's why so many people turn to Hobson's Dry Cleaning, conveniently located in the heart of the community at 874 East Delavan at the corner of Wyoming.
When you take your clothes to Hobson's, you can trust that they'll be ready on time.
You can trust that your whites will be white.
You can trust that you'll always get a fair price and service with a smile.
You can even trust that you won't have to get out of your car if you don't want to. Hobson's has a drive-through window for your convenience.
Trust is what it's all about at Hobson's Dry Cleaning.
Hobson's Dry Cleaning, your one-stop dry cleaners serving the community for over 30 years at 874 East Delavan at the corner of Wyoming. Call 891-8298. That's 891-8298.
Brian K. Lewis Funeral Home has 3 locations to serve you in Buffalo. 347 Peckham, 2258 Bailey Avenue, and Providence Memorial Chapel at 1275 Sycamore. Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes offers traditional services, and they have services for all faiths. And at Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes, they have air-conditioned parlors and chapels. Financing is available, as is limousine service. At those difficult moments in your life, Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes is available where you are with counseling services. Call toll-free 877-885-7734. That's 877-885-7734. Or locally 845-5545. Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes. We are here to serve you, here to serve this present age. Call today, toll-free 877-885-7734. Or email info@brianklewisfuneralhome.com.
All right, so we are back. So those of you who are traveling in Atlanta, and I know everybody, so many people love Atlanta, and I'm grateful to be on in Atlanta. But I don't think I've met anybody who doesn't complain about the traffic in Atlanta. And the problem in Atlanta is there's no space to widen up the highway. No. Now you go over to Florida, man. DeSantis will widen. This is the truth. This dude widened the highway in 6 months. He walked on. He said, I want this done in 6 months. And over by Champions Gate, if you're familiar with Florida, over by Disney, they took this 4-lane at certain places, made it 6 lanes. I mean, it's like crazy. I went one time, came back the next time, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah.
And so, but they have space.
Yeah.
They have a lot of land. If they keep going, they won't. And one of the chief complaints about our beloved Atlanta is the traffic. But this week, they're already warning you. So if you put that on already airports just starting to catch up,
yeah,
you're going to have to really love the ATL to come to ATL.
Enjoy.
You're going to really have to love it. And spring break, I tried to stay away from certain places at spring break, but people love to come to Atlanta during spring break. All I say to you, if you're coming over here to Atlanta, just either make sure you got it. Matter of fact, let me give you a hint. When you reserve a car, they do not charge you until you pick it up.
Right.
And I don't know if that's federal law or whatever, unless you go through a third party or you go through at 6, you can get a lesser rate if you pay for it up front.
Yep.
This is what I suggest to you. Reserve it at this season at 2 or 3, because if you don't pick it up, you just don't pick it up.
Absolutely.
But at least then, Like we was running down. One lady was like, "I heard they got cars down there at this spot." Man, I'm running down like I've lost my mind to get down there.
You running like OJ and the Hertz commercial?
Like OJ and the Hertz. Because this was before I had my vet down there, and so I didn't have my own transportation, so I had to have a rental car to get around. And at the end of the day, man, it's like, oh my goodness. So enjoy Atlanta. Welcome to Atlanta. Those who are coming to Atlanta, welcome to Atlanta. But just know, if you come in, don't come complain about the traffic, because you're gonna be in traffic.
Godspeed.
And cars are gonna be hard to get to. And when you leave, get to the airport early. Even if you got pre-check and clear. Because I've stood in the pre-check line in Atlanta for 45 minutes to an hour.
Because aren't they saying the wait time is still 4 to 6?
Depends on the day.
Okay.
Depends on the day. Depends on the hour. I'm a news junkie, so right now I don't know like this particular hour,
moment,
but like yesterday after the big rush in the morning, you could walk right through.
Oh, okay.
So TSA, big ups again to TSA. They are working. They still got a lot of call offs, but if you coming down here to Atlanta, listen, be ready for what you're going to get. I like to go the week after.
Yeah. Well,
2 weeks after everybody back in school.
It's funny because, there was a lot of people, my second home is Miami now, and everybody like, come down. I'm like, not during spring break. You crazy. I'm not doing that.
I can't even imagine being in Miami. I'm too old to be bothered with the shenanigans that go on in Florida. Not Florida. Because I can go to my place, but not Miami. That's but all of these Florida towns are cracking down on the spring break.
That's true.
And to be very honest, from what I see, I understand. Come on, man, y'all can't be shooting, and it's not even people from the area.
Right.
They coming in. I ain't gonna name areas, but they coming in from other areas.
What's crazy in when you go to Miami talking about cracking down. You know how you see in movies the drop top convertibles and the blasting music. There's cops there that regulate that on the corners.
Yeah.
Like, hey, no, you got to turn music down. We get you ticket.
Yes.
Because you know me, I'm got the drop top. It's nice out. I got the music going. Next thing I know, I see a cop and he pointing like this.
I just don't know the philosophy of needing music of that loud when you can hear it. Does everybody else have to hear it?
Yeah, you got to feel it.
Why? Like, roll up your windows and feel it. It's a safety hazard. If there's I'm 61, so I'm going at it from but I've always been like this. I don't understand. One of my daughters had big old speakers, and I'm like, why? Now the people, if there's an ambulance you can't hear, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoy it. In certain occasions, right? Like, like a day like today, we finally got 70 degrees. I can open the sunroof, crack the windows, and just.
Well, I'm going to get my car soon, and I wouldn't, I'll only take my top down when it gets to be 70. Yeah. If it's not 70, but I ain't going to blast my music for everybody. It's over. That's old. Let me get to Druski. So Druski does this. If you don't know Druski, he's a comedian. And Druski does this whole thing about Kurt, right?
Yep, the wife.
The wife. And he goes in whiteface, and so some people, even some African Americans, are saying he went too far because she's still in mourning and all that. Why you do that? You did the whole.
Come on now.
What?
Because she's. I mean, granted, she could still be in mourning. I'm not taking that part away. I'm saying, he made fun of a speech she gave since the incident.
Okay,
that's public, and I come on now. Like, if something funny would have happened at Jesse Jackson's funeral, they would have been talked about. Like, I think. I'll let you finish it.
No, go ahead. I
think the role of comedy in this society has always been bringing levity to our serious matters. And matter of fact, not just this country, in the world. Like, when playwrights and everything else wrote plays, a lot of them were based on the tragedies that were going on in the society at the moment. Without that form of art, then we are pulling our hair out watching the news. So if for Druski to do this, I didn't see nothing wrong with it. I mean, because to me, it's like, you can't laugh at the church reel and then be mad at this. You can't laugh at some of his other redneck ones, but then be mad at this. So I think you can just say, you know what? I don't care about this one, but to bash him, the art form, and everything else, and saying he went too far. I mean, personal opinion, but I don't think he did anything wrong. He stayed away from Charlie Kirk's death. He didn't make fun of that at all. He literally just made fun of her and what white conservatives are saying behind microphones.
Well, some people feel that the skit was hilarious and spot on, praising how detailed, this is from BuzzFeed, and committed his performance is. Others, a lot of conservative viewers, especially supporters of Erica Kirk, feel it is a direct, mean-spirited attack. Allegedly, the president even suggested that she sue him.
Yeah.
And others are saying, well, I'll just say this. If I sued everybody who did a parody of me, I'd be in court all year long, right? So here's my take. Here's my thought. We are living in a country right now where the same president that says sue Druski is the same president that calls people idiots.
Yep.
Is the same president who comes out of his mouth with some of the most vile stuff.
And profanity.
And profanity.
From the White House.
It's the same president that if he does not like you. So I think there's a difference between evil vindication and comedy. And some, yes, may feel, all right, bro, you went a little too far. I'm all right with that. But I think that at the end of the day, why, if this man does this, it's a lawsuit. But if this man does this, it's, that's just how he is.
Absolutely.
Because that's what people who support the president say, well, that's just him. Mm-hmm. But when anybody says that's this him, that's an excuse for some behavior.
Yes. Yep.
And how can you say, and I'm not saying Druski is right or wrong. I want to be clear. Listen, Darius, I just want peace and goodwill toward all men. It's Good Friday.
Yes.
It's Good Friday. It's Good Friday. I'm trying to just keep the peace.
Y'all already killed my Savior. You already killed my Savior.
He's on the cross. What time is it? This would be about the time we put him in. He died. Surely he died. He died.
You're going to make us happy in here.
Sun refused to shine.
Yes, sir.
And so I think that we just have to have, somebody's got to bring the attention to looking at both of the platforms.
Absolutely.
And saying we have to sit and watch that on the news.
Yep.
And maybe it's not with blackface. Maybe it's not. But there's a whole lot of shade thrown on social media from the head of the country. Mm-hmm. And so now you got this guy who is comedy, I guess, who now we're saying sue him and he's a demon.
But no one has sued Family Guy, the founder of Family Guy. No one has sued the Simpsons and animated series. So we'll let animated cartoons get away with stuff. But because it's a black man.
Let me pause you before I forget, because Janetta said the way I'm saying I'm 61, everybody talking about me. Shuki talking about me. Because here's the deal. They make millions, if not $1 billion, on South Park, everything else. Yep. You know, Druski ain't making that kind of money. It's just that the following is laughing, and now it's a problem. I'm lost. Why is it low man on the totem pole you want to sue?
And now circle it back. Every Saturday Night Live. Is doing skits.
Come on,
about the White House. Ain't nobody talking about sue them.
Nobody's talking. You know, that's a good point. They do it, and everybody laughs, right? And the people who don't like it, you don't watch it. Yep. If I don't like, it's the same thing when Druski did the churches and church folk getting all upset. Calm yourself down, because he just put on the same thing that he saw another pastor wear.
That's it.
So if you're not wearing that, or if you are, stand on it.
Yeah.
If Druski did a show right now and put this little cardigan on it, I wore it, and I wore it in public.
Right.
And if that's what I do, then that's what comedy is about. It is about relief. It is about looking. Somebody says he talks about disabled people, and I know people who, when comedians talk about disabled people, they're in a wheelchair laughing because they're like, don't treat me differently.
Absolutely.
Treat me the same as you treat everybody else, but don't treat me bad either.
Right.
And that's, I think, what the difference is when you look at a Druski, because I couldn't believe how many church folk, he shouldn't have did that. He literally put on the clothes that he saw a popular pastor wear.
Yep.
He literally, come on, y'all don't really want me to start going there. Put on the red bottoms. Like we done seen 1 million, and I ain't saying nothing is wrong with them, but it's true. 1 million pastors sit in the pulpit and prop their feet up so you can see the doggone red bottoms.
And him even flying from the ceiling. There was a church that had a pastor flying from the ceiling.
Why we mad? Why we mad? When that little boy, and it just circulated nationally again, sat in my daggone front pew and said, it's too loud in here.
Yeah.
I cracked up.
Yep.
I shared it. I shared it. And if somebody does a parody of it, we're still going to laugh. Because daggone it, it was funny.
It was.
But if I wear sneakers to church every Sunday and Druski or any other local comedians talk about True Bethel.
Yep.
They be at club tomorrow. Oh, he ain't gonna bury y'all. Stuff like that. I've heard about it.
Or when they came and said, ain't Buffalo the city with the church that had the liquor store?
Had the liquor store. Remember that?
Yep.
They accused us of having a liquor store. Did I lose my stuff over it? Hegs no. Why? What about it? We ain't got no liquor store.
Kibi on TikTok said this is also the same president that said he was happy an FBI official died. So
come on.
What are we talking about?
What are we talking about? So I never followed Druski, but I can tell y'all this: a whole lot of people following him now.
Oh, absolutely.
So y'all gave him what he wanted, but I don't agree. Now I got some people that I'm considering suing. So any of you hungry attorneys out there for defamation, let me know. And I want somebody young and fired up and somebody who trying to build a reputation who gonna go. Just contact me. I think I got a pretty good lawsuit. I got a lawsuit.
Absolutely.
So Druski, okay, where's my other note? So Brian Carn. Let's talk about this.
Good old pastor, prophet.
So if you don't know, if some of you were watching, if you never heard of Prophet Brian Carn, very popular, really blew up, maybe 15 years ago. Matter of fact, he's been to Buffalo.
Yeah,
he's been to Buffalo. He used our church one time. Yep. Now I'm just gonna say they rented.
They rented. It wasn't us.
What not? But I don't have any problem. Let me tell you this. I don't have no problem. I don't have a heaven to put nobody in, a hell to put nobody in. I'm working out my own stuff. Yep. So I am not the judgmental guy. That's what the Bible
says. Work out your own soul salvation.
Work out your own. I am not, people, this pastor doing it. I don't, unless you hurting the flock in some type of way, that ain't up to me. So this is what happened.
Or unless you put your money there. If you ain't putting $1 in, if you didn't sign up for a membership, go through discipleship class, you didn't do anything, you ain't even never stepped foot in that sanctuary or watch the live stream, stop.
Come on. Okay, so Brian Carnes appears to go off on one of his musicians.
Yeah.
I think it was bass player.
Yeah.
So Brian Carnes likes to sing. He, musical, and he's going off on him about why aren't you? It's about a tune.
Yeah. So he was trying to teach a new song that the musicians hadn't heard before. So he actually asked all of them. He was like, "Follow me." And so he started with the bass player so he could get the beat. So Brian Carn starts doing the melody, and the bass player can't pick it up.
And so he says something to the bass player like, do you – I don't know, you can't see me. So he's like going in on the bass player. And so it appears like he's being disrespectful. And so let me see. I'm going to play a little bit.
Audio? Okay, you got it.
That's why we have so many problems up here. Turn me up in something so he say he can't hear me. Brother Tyrone, everybody can hear me but him. You ready? Try again. This is gonna go viral.
Yeah, you know it's gonna go viral because I know it's a lot of musicians out there that wouldn't have took
I'm
this.
just gonna skip this guy.
You can't hear like everybody else.
Shame. He's shaming him.
All right, I'm gonna stop it, but because some people make money off of other people's content,
right?
And so it is always easier to criticize than produce, because a lot of these commentators out here either were pastors, didn't make it in pastor. Because this is my feeling. When you busy doing what you called to do,
you ain't got time.
You ain't got time to be worried about somebody else. So Prophet Brian Carn goes off on his musician, says you can't hear, blah, 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 blah. Now, this is what I want to say as a pastor. It's easy to look at this from the outside in and go, because people was like, yeah, you wouldn't do that in Detroit. You wouldn't do that here. No. He then comes back on with the musician.
Right.
All of them sitting there. They're laughing. And I'm going to tell you why. There is one thing about public rebuke, and there's one thing about teasing with somebody you have a relationship with.
Absolutely.
If you took all of the clips from a True Bethel, I'm sure you're going to find somewhere in there where I go, and if you just take one bit of a clip, when Ronnie's on the drums and I'm ready to preach, and he keeps going, brr, brr, and I go, stop it. Or I go, unplug the organ right now. That is not disrespect. That's the musicians who play at our church, because we've sat in the office before church, ribbing on each other. We've sat. I had a sweater on the other day, went and said I look like a math teacher.
You have fired musicians from the pulpit, so and they were
it's about relationships. And I'll just speak for True Bethel. I am grateful for those young men that play for the church. And I would in public, if you took a snippet, it may look like that.
Right.
But at the end of the day, we didn't got together before church. We didn't hung out at rehearsals. We've been in the car cracking up. Now we get in, it's not. And I remember even when Malcolm used to direct here, we would go back and forth on the mic. And people accepted it because I wasn't being disrespectful. That was about relationship.
And you're absolutely right, because one, as a good leader, you know who you can joke with like that. You know who you can do that publicly with and who won't take offense.
Exactly.
And because there's another very prominent pastor who him and his musical director go at it in the microphone during service, and that's Pastor John Hanna.
Okay.
And both of them actually posted on social media them going back and forth with each other, cracking jokes, even at their biggest service, New Year's, Easter, and they'd be like, "Well, you see what song he chose today." Like,
because this is what I think has happened to church. Instead of us being a family,
right,
we become a business.
Yep.
And so that business, and I'm not saying Brian Carn is right or wrong. I want to be clear. All I'm saying is, as a pastor who understands relationship, I'll tell you the best times at True Bethel are those family times where you feel like you're family.
Yep.
The other week, I'll say it. We got a member who will sometime be recording with her own phone. She got in my camera shot.
You sure did.
And I said, sweetheart, you can sit over here because you're in my camera shot. Now, maybe if a Brian Carn or somebody said, it'd be like, oh, he disrespected her. No, you really were in the camera shot so the people could not see. But I tell you what, that woman she sat down and we both laughed. Because if you have a relationship.
Yep.
Now, that's one thing, because some people like to go to a church that might have 15,000 in attendance. There probably isn't a whole lot of relationships. But at the end of the day, when you have a relationship with the people who you lead, maybe it's not for social media, but everybody's streaming. So it's unfortunately you can't get things that other people may look at and go, oh, that's so negative, that's so bad.
I'm just thinking of all the examples. Just recently, a few months ago, Pastor Jamal Bryant was walking out of service at the end of his stream, and he woke the lady up, then talked about the man in the fur.
But everybody was laughing. Who was in the sanctuary.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, it's about his relationship with the members. And I'll just say the opposite of what anybody wants to say who's not successful in ministry. Because a lot of people want to say stuff because they're not successful. So it's easy to put off on somebody else and then make them look bad. When Jamal Harrison Bryant walked out and he said whatever, that lady woke up laughing. He was not, my opinion.
No.
He was not shaming her. Obviously, they got a relationship.
Yeah.
And when I and this is the truth, I'm a clown sometime in church. Now, when it comes to that word, I ain't playing. But I do make some jokes during the time, right?
Yep.
But at the end of the day, the people, like you just said, I know who I can play with. If I don't know you, I ain't saying nothing.
Right.
Now, a lady did walk past the other week in the offering, and everything was matching. Her coat, her hair, her boots, her gloves, and I did say something.
Yep.
And she looked back and waved.
Yep.
Now, she could have looked back and gave me the finger.
Right.
Then I would have known, don't do that.
She not want to mess with. And that's the other thing you got to be careful with, Trevor.
You don't know. She had on cheetah I think she had on cheetah. She had cheetah in her hair. She had cheetah on her nails. She had cheetah everywhere. I couldn't resist. It was the end of service. We were taking off, and I couldn't resist. That cheetah was cheetah-ing. And she knew when she put it on, people were going to look. So, you try not to look. You're trying to be neutral. But there's just some things
moments
you can't be neutral about.
There is moments.
So I said it to Miss Cheetah. Miss Cheetah turned around and said,
She knows she got the reaction she wanted.
And it wasn't disrespectful. So I say just my only encouragement, when you hear stuff like this, there's certain things you gotta look at it from a different side. Now, do I agree with he clapped back. Oh my gosh. That's my sermon Sunday. I've got receipts. I got the receipts. That's what I'm preaching Sunday. He came with receipts.
I gotta send you. I'm sorry. You gotta hold on. Finish your thought.
All right. So he came with receipts and started naming names. Now that. I don't think that was necessary. People gonna talk about you regardless, but I've been on that side of the fence sometimes.
Yeah.
When you had to say, I ain't stand for this. I do. So I get both sides. I get all the sides because I've been in the crosshairs.
Yep.
And if I didn't say anything, there's a saying that says you cannot defend what you don't know.
Right.
Then that lie would stand. So I have had to, but I haven't. Even my this horrible situation of a lie. I still have not said that person's name.
Right.
Although their name was public.
Right.
Because when things were filed, it wasn't redacted. Right. I ain't said nothing about them. I ain't said nothing what I can say even this week about that person because that ain't my style.
No, it's not.
And I think as a grown man and as a believer in God, I want more peace. Like, I know where they're at right now. I wanted to send them something very kind, and I'm not kidding. But I thought it might be seen as being smart or being,
right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I'm like, I want to help you in your situation, but I don't want to come off as, he trying to be funny.
Right.
So I pray.
And like you said, that scripture, don't let your good be evil spoken of.
Yeah.
But I was going to send you, speaking of Sunday sermons, E. Dewey Smith, and staying in Atlanta, E. Dewey Smith did a reel for what he's preaching Sunday, and it was a skit in a funeral home, and his title for Easter is "Who Got the Body."
I preached that before.
Did you really?
Matter of fact, we did it at Kleinhand's, and
okay.
we had a casket on Kleinhand's. Oh yeah. Brian brought a casket, and the casket had an escape hatch. So I was the one as Jesus, and they put me in this casket, but it was modern day.
Yeah.
And then when they opened the casket, I'm gone because they put the drape around the casket, and the set was set up that I could crawl out. We open it.
You did it.
And oh my gosh! Yeah. So now, because when they put me in the casket, people was for real crying, like kids and stuff. It was a little dramatic. And then I went up the back of Kleinhand's, and I show up in the balcony.
Oh, that's
come
deep.
on!
Oh, that's good.
Woo!
That's good.
Goodness, it's Good Friday. We gotta talk a little Jesus on Good Friday.
Well, and then the last thing for Atlanta and the Buffalo connection. Shout out to Bishop Matt Brown. He's preaching at New Birth's 7 Last Sayings right now. So
good.
So shout out to Bishop Matt Brown.
Shout out to him. Hey, listen, we're almost out of time. Let me tell you about Sunday. I get a text in the middle of church.
Oh yeah.
From my boss at the funeral home, and she said somebody broke into the funeral home. So I said I'll talk to you after church. Call her. She said they broke in. Listen to this. They break into what you getting out of the funeral home. There's no money in the funeral home. But he did some damage. Now, you were bold enough to break in the funeral home, but there was an open casket. He breaks the open casket because I guess he didn't want to be in there with an open casket. Now, so I want to say this, there were no loved ones in the funeral home. There were no loved ones in the funeral home, in that location. And we're very clear to, we always protect loved ones. So there's no loved ones, but there's an open, empty casket in the showroom. And he breaks it, trying to close it. But you broke in the funeral home. He gets ready to make himself a coffee because it's all on camera.
Wait. He makes a coffee?
He goes to make a coffee. He's walking around. He has on pants. He takes off his pants. He's in gym shorts. Takes off his shoes. He's getting comfortable. It's 8 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday.
Wow.
But he made one mistake. Because, of course, everything in the funeral home is dead. He goes in a part of the funeral home where there is a live person and encounters the live person.
Oh, jeez.
And he runs out of the funeral home with no shoes and no pants. Can't make this up. And he's caught the same morning. He's caught. You see him running out with gym shorts on and no shoes. Sir, you don't go in funeral homes. Especially Brian, who takes care of everybody.
Oh,
you going to break in this man's funeral home?
Oh, boy.
All right, y'all got to go. 7 last words, I believe, are getting ready to come on right now.
Yep.
So do not turn your dial. 7 last words happening right here. You'll hear them in Buffalo and Atlanta as these women preach the word of God. Thank you, Sheila, for the 7 last word. Until next week.
Power to the people.